So the comprehensive exam in the TESOL program is comprehensive as it says. It basically covers all the areas that you've studied in the program. It is given about 7 weeks into your final semester. So for me, that was this past fall. It was the week before Thanksgiving. And it consists of 2 overarching questions. You answer both of them, and they each consist of about 4 or 5 sub-questions. You're given an opportunity to go really in depth into multiple subjects and touch on most of the things you learned in the program. So it's pretty formidable, and also is a great memory refresher for your last semester. I am really interested in teaching. I want to, I love reading research of others. I am not research oriented myself. I think if I were, I would have selected the thesis to really go in depth on one topic. I actually kind of wanted the opportunity to test myself on the big picture of the entire program. And it felt very practical for me, given that I do want to go straight into teaching and focus on actual classroom engagement, and am not looking, at least at this point, to go into any sort of educational research, but you never know. There's a lot of support from the program and from fellow students and alums in preparing for the comp exam. I believe at least once each semester, the department organizes a student presenting their experience of preparing for and taking the comp exam. So somebody who has already gone through the experience. I can't recommend highly enough attending that meeting. I did it the semester before my semester with the comp exam. You can also do it the semester during. I would recommend doing both, or at least the one before, because it gave me a sense ahead of time of what I would need. And it helped sort of calm my nerves about what is this thing. In that presentation, we had an alum, Billy, who there are certain resources that I think have been handed down from generation to generation. And one is a master reference list, which pretty much cobbles together the reference items that are the materials that are in the syllabi for the various courses, right? So anyone can do that. Somebody has done it, which is just a nice thing to be like handing down, paying forward. And another is a list of quotations. Sort of key quotes on certain topics, like use of the first language in the classroom, vocabulary, grammar. It's just a few things here and there, but it's just a skeleton of resources that have been shared from generation to generation. And it just gives you a sense of what will be covered, how you need to go more in depth, which topics you will need to be actually doing your own deep dive into. And then they also, as the department does, gives you an example of past actual comp exam questions. So I highly recommend going to that, saving all those documents in a place called comp exam on your computer. And then you can do your own studying after that. But that was just enormously, enormously helpful. So the comp exam is currently emailed to students at 9 a.m. on a given date. So, you know, it was, say, the week before Thanksgiving for me. And then you are given, currently, I believe it is 7 days to complete it. I think that the number of those days has changed. And it's understood that you don't go to classes in that week. If you're teaching a practicum, you don't teach during that week. It's really just a hunker down, focus on this thing. And in my experience, a week was plenty of time. It's a total of, I believe, 24 pages or something like that. So there is a max length. you're encouraged to dedicate all the time you can. If you have work and or children, you try to get some kind of balance going, and really focus on that for a week. And then you submit it currently electronically and by the deadline, and then you wait. You're done. I was so excited. I will say that also it was such an in-depth experience that it was almost surreal when I finished. I felt like I suddenly had so much time on my hands, which I didn't. But it's a very deep, otherworldly experience where you and a few of your classmates are on this deep dive together. But no, it's thrilling to get the notification that you passed, and you get it before the end of the semester. So maybe as you're gearing up for your last project in a class or two, you get this good news. I would recommend that when it comes to the actual studying, it can seem sort of massive and shapeless and overwhelming. And so I took the advice of Billy, who led our comp exam meeting, and around a month or two ahead of the comp exam, start getting your house sorted, your figurative house. I literally made piles on my floor and my desk of the materials from each class. And so that was textbook, my actual physical notebooks, any papers that I had printed out. And I just started flipping through them. So it can be either, digitally sorted on your computer and or physical piles, whatever works for you organizationally in your own mind. And started putting Post-its on pages, started highlighting things on my, digital files, just to have these things popping out at me and easy to find when I got my questions. And one thing I found really helpful was to, we get these master lists from past students, which is great. And you're going to want to add your own stuff to that. And so as you start to sort things and go through them, start adding to the master reference list, start adding to the quotation list, things that jump out at you that you'll want to use in the comp exam, because certain things come up every year, right? Basics about ESL instruction. So start beefing up those shared resources with your own personal notes. Those are the things that speak to you, which means they'll probably be things that you use. As students will be told, you are not allowed to ask each other content questions, but you are allowed to reach out just for emotional sustenance and say, hi, how are you doing? Have you slept? And that was really nice. It was a very fun program, and the last semester was a lot of work, and I feel proud that it is done.